What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing you a state of the market and stock picks for February 8th, 2023. So that sounds like something you're interested in. Consider subscribing, as we do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. Now, we did have Nflx today. Again, a lot of these really aren't going to have a big impact as the last couple of weeks, but I figured I would keep the trend and kind of just open up with some of these earnings that are currently going on. Now, Nflx is obviously energy company here, but 1.51 expected, and they came in at 1.23. 694 revenue expected came in at 724. So Nflx did really good. Obviously, energy is going to do extremely well in this market. Energy's actually been explosive and very expensive, to say the least. Let's check out Chipotle. I don't know. It is just right after the bell, so I don't know if... Chipotle didn't do so hot. That's definitely not good. I don't know what the numbers are on Chipotle, but nonetheless, doesn't look like it's doing very well at all. EPS 8.29 missed 8.91 estimate. Came in pretty. Sales 21.818 billion missed. Oh, they missed pretty bad. That's pretty crazy to see that. Nonetheless, Chipotle's always done very good over the past couple of years, especially during the pandemic. So I think that even with pricing and everything, food prices, obviously, they're taking a huge hit. So it'd be interesting to see other food, essentially any kind of fast food, McDonald's or anything like that moving forward. Again, I'm not too keen onto those particular industries. Chipotle is just a big one I typically watch because it is pretty crazy that it's at $1,700 for a burrito kind of fast food restaurant. So be interesting to see. But nonetheless, now that we got those out of the way, we kind of seeing where things at. Again, let's kind of go over the day. What essentially happened for the day? So the market was essentially waiting. Let me go ahead and pull this off. The market was essentially waiting for Powell today. So I wasn't really expecting Powell to have that much of an impact, but the market was really waiting to see. I guess they really wanted to see if he really meant what he said last week, which is funny because we've typically been getting this after every monetary policy. Powell comes on the following week and has some sort of conference or something where he talks. And normally it was very interesting to watch this one. It was more of just a chill kind of space where he was just talking and didn't really got more kind of into his personal life as opposed to inflation and stuff. There really wasn't a lot there. It's kind of really just a waste of space, in my opinion. He reiterated, but he came in very hawkish. So we did get a huge spike down. You won't see that on the daily, but on the hourly, there was a huge spike down when he was talking, or right after he finished talking, because he said rates are going to have to stay high for a prolonged period of time. He said there will be more rate increases. So they're projecting at least 2 more rate increases. So we'll see what happens there, especially after Bostic yesterday saying 50-point basis move is not off the table. Now they will get 2 more inflation reports before the next monetary policy, so that will really dictate what we're going to come in with. But today the market was going off of hopium on the fact that one of the things he did say is disinflation, and he just tried to keep alluding to the fact that we're seeing signs of disinflation, which is great. But then he also points to the fact that we haven't seen any disinflation in the housing sector, rental units, which is a problem. And he doesn't know when that's going to come down. Obviously, that is not. People can't afford homes. So the inflation for rental units is going to remain high. How do you get rid of that with the tools that they have? You can't really do anything with the tools that they have, right? Aside from bringing that down, to a point to where people want to start affording homes, and then the demand for rental units comes down. So there's no real way to kill that inflation or get any kind of disinflation in the rental units. And so he kept reiterating that and said that multiple times. But he wanted to clarify that it was in the very early stages. And this is something he's talked about even last year. He talked about everything's in the early stages, but the market would run even given after what was said. And then come to find out, a report comes out and everybody's in shock when the market drops 100 points. So again, I'm trying not to be a bear here, but there is no positive data coming out of what's coming out. Um, yes, inflation is coming down in other aspects. People just can't afford to survive, period. Now you have the debt ceiling, right? It's a big topic of discussion as well. If they don't approve it, do we default, right? And what does that come, right? Like we've seen what's happened when that's happened before, right? So um, things can get really nasty, and I don't think there's too many moving pieces that could break something. And I'm talking about like economically broken, right? Like systems are failing. The consumer spending or consumer credit card uh, debt numbers came out today as well for December, and they were extremely low. They were predicting, I think, like 25 million. It only came in at 11, I believe, is what it was. But people didn't spend a lot for Christmas, which was interesting. Either that or people just don't have the money. Right? They're not spending on gifts. So it'd be interesting to see how that was really broken down, nonetheless. But the things aren't great, and to think that they are, and to think that everything is fine and dandy when energy is rocketing as well. The commodities are coming right back up, which is horrible to see because that could cause some major pain on top of what's already being caused with these high interest rates. So Powell even had mentioned the fact that a strong jobs report only reinforces the fact that we can continue to raise rates, which again is a problem and going to be a huge problem moving forward. Um, we don't know where the consumer is at, and we will see a lot more pain. It means a lot more siphoning, essentially, of money from the system until something breaks. And that's what Powell essentially has been saying this whole time, that we will see a lot more pain. Like there has to be something to break for him to essentially stop. And so I don't think the market in general thinks that that is where Powell is at, especially because on the last meeting he was very dovish, and now he's kind of got a little dovish in this talk, but then he kind of finished with more a hawkish tone, his normal self, which caused the market to drop. But then, like I said, as soon as he got off, the market started pushing back up. Again, you say that magical word, disinflation, and then people just go absolutely absurd. So we'll see. Technical wise, we do have to break 4,200. If we cannot break 4,200, again, that's going to be a problem. We don't have enough good news to break. And I don't think people are willing to put enough risk on, considering where we're at, to start buying back in. I think people still see too many issues in the economy to just start buying back in and go completely risk off and just ape in, right? There's no reason to do that because there's still so much uncertainty right now. You need a clearer picture than what we currently have, and there's a lot of data to that essentially highlights the things that we talk about here that makes people very cautious to think that we're going to be okay from this point. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But technical wise, again, we need to break the 4,200. Bears, you need this to flush essentially below the 4,100. And then right now, again, we're playing that range. We'll see where we land tomorrow. We have some more earnings coming up. Again, no great earnings. We'll have some more Fed members coming up. Really just waiting on that core and see what that first core comes out. We haven't had a core in a while. See what it says and see if it highlights any of the things that the Fed are really kind of weighing in on. So let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar itself had a slight pullback, had a massive rip over the past couple days. Now it's hit that first 50 EMA and bounce. Obviously, you're going to get a hard rejection off that. It's the first time you've hit. Again, the dollar creep back over 104. This is going to be a problem. The big thing is that the dollar has been ripping and the market's still been ripping as well. So one of them is essentially lying. Eventually, one of whatever side is going to catch up. And so that is my concern. Is there's a lot of things that are telling different stories. Bitcoin again consolidating just like the market. We need a new catalyst to really break up over 2,400. We need a new piece of bad news for us to really keep selling off, but it's just not enough for people to put risk on because they don't know. There's too much uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. So the market is waiting for at least some piece of information to know which direction it should be going from this point. Tesla still holding strong, but it's that essentially that 200 has just been holding it down. Again, if we could break above that, that'd be great. Again, you still got the 200 EMA on the essentially the 216 mark here. So you don't got much of headroom. If you can break that, you could really get some gas. Otherwise, you're kind of looking at the 182. Again, if it breaks down below that, you got quite a bit of a drop before you start hitting some more daily support. But we have to see, and we're getting off cycle for earnings. In a normal cycle, you have the down cycle after earnings, which is about 4 weeks. The market or the stock will typically sell off, slowly grind back down until it gets ready for the next earnings cycle. That's typically where you pick up a lot of stocks when it grinds down and consolidates on a normal cycle. But this cycle, not so much. So Apple, again, everything's looking the same. Same patterns, right? You have very overextended push up. The market's grinding. The fact that it's just sitting and grinding, if it can't break by the end of the week, it's going to be a problem, in my opinion. That means we are just waiting for that catalyst to potentially sink down. We need a pullback. Bulls, you want to pull back for this team to gain strength. If it can't pull back and hold, that's going to be an issue. So Apple, again, we need to try to break roughly the 155. You want to hold the 147. We'll see what happens there. BA, again, just consolidating, again, playing a very, very tight range here. And be interesting to see what happens with this one. But again, it needs to break up above the 216 mark. And then for the bear side, if it breaks below 203, could see some trouble. I need that opening candle to break above or below those locations, essentially what I'm talking about. So if it can't do that, then it's then we're just going to sit and chop until we get some sort of news that's going to do that. And if we have to wait all the way to core till next week, maybe we just play a 100-point range until next week because we don't really know what the next move is going to be. We don't have a lot of news this week. A lot of Fed members just talking and some more earnings that really aren't going to do enough to push the market in any direction. So JPM, again, trying to break out. If it could break out the 144, could get another strong case for financials to start gaining strength again, which is quite interesting because it's already very overextended. GS, again, range bound, needs to break up over essentially the 389. This thing to keep going needs to hold essentially the 343 mark. If you want to keep this thing rock and rolling, again, very overextended. Bank of America, same thing. It needs to break roughly the 37 mark and then break the 38 mark. So it's got some pretty close resistance here, but nonetheless needs to break. Otherwise, it cannot break below the 36. That could be a big problem there. So we'll see what happens there. But again, I don't want to make these videos too long. We had the digestion of Powell. That does help a little bit. We do have Biden tonight in his State of the Union, so he'll be on tonight. He might sway the market as well. If we gap up, we play calls. Gap down, we play puts. That's pretty much where we're at. We have to wait and see. I know patience is very hard, but the market itself is very confused because it doesn't know There's a lot of mixed signals on what's good and what's bad, and so we really need to kind of see. My opinion is not has not changed. I'm still very bearish, but I still need that event to kick off. Otherwise, by design, we might just continue to push up, and then I'll wait for that catalyst and manage risk until something else tells me otherwise. But with that being said, have a great day, have a great night, and I will see you guys later.